You're listening to The Secret Society of Western Big Game Hunting with Dan Adler.
Hey guys, welcome into the Speakeasy here in Prescott, Arizona. Hunt Command here inside the Pines. Welcome to the Secret Society of Western Big Game Hunting. Dan Adler with you. Tonight, I've got a campfire chat that bridges the gap between hunting royalty and the next generation of outdoor media. If you've ever turned on Outdoor Network, outdoor television, any format, you know the names Ralph and Vicky Cianciarulo from Archer's Choice and The Choice. Well, today, we're sitting down with the folks grabbing the reins, in my opinion, of this incredible legacy. Their son, RJ Cianciarulo, and his beautiful wife, Aubrey. They're not just continuing the family business at Contact King Media, they're carving their own path in the West. RJ, Aubrey, welcome to the Secret Society of Western Big Game Hunting. How are you guys and what are you up to?
We're doing good. Thank you for having us, Mr. Dan. We appreciate it. Right now we're kind of on the last little roundabout here, coming around to the baby coming soon, of course.
Baby time, yeah.
Love it.
Which I think is our most exciting thing right now.
Yes.
We are just beyond excited. We still have a couple things to get done. He's due early June, so I have a couple more
Baby
things
watch is in full effect.
Yes.
100%.
But you guys haven't been resting on that. I've been following you guys. You've been turkey hunting all across the country, Florida, Illinois. Tell me a little bit about that experience. And for you, RJ, as a soon-to-be dad, and Aubrey, what's that like carrying around that extra weight and all that excitement? And I mean, what's that like in the turkey woods? RJ, you go first.
Oh, geez. Well, I'm more than excited. It's probably going to sound crazy, but I was sitting on the couch maybe a month ago, and I'm sitting there scrolling through Instagram Reels, and seriously, just this random video of a little kid pops up, and he was just so excited to go hunting with his dad. I'm sitting there like getting all emotional just watching it, and it was the weirdest thing, but now I catch myself kind of thinking about having the little guy out in the field with us, and I just get excited for everything. And that's like we were talking a little bit before the podcast. They have these backpacks now, so like this fall, hopefully God willing, everything goes good. He'll be on one of our backs cruising around in elk timber or even whitetail, who knows? Yeah. But that's I think what I'm most excited about for that, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like, not much has changed with me hunting wise, except for I got this big round belly in my way. And I'm like, I don't know how these guys with beer bellies do it. Bending over, I'm like always going, ugh.
Could you help with my boots, please?
Can you please?
So are the rumors true, RJ, that when Aubrey's getting ready to shoot her shotgun, you put your hands on her belly to protect your baby's ears? Mm-hmm. Little earmuffs? Is that true?
Oh yeah, we just had a baby shower this last weekend, and we got those little earmuffs for like tiny little babies. So
yeah, he'll be
right off the bat. Oh yeah, he'll be having a blast. And we already got him. I had just signed for it, actually. I got to go pick it up here soon. We have a 3-day wait in Colorado. A little 22 Browning. I'm so excited.
That's so great. I was able to confirm with you guys off air. It's not like you're just casually going to step back in the woods this fall. You have an archery bow hunt on foot with the baby. So that's going to be so cool. You know, my baby, who was less than 6 pounds when I took him home, turns 20 the same week your son's going to be born. 20. And he is the ultimate hunting partner. And you got it right, RJ. The experience you just had, you know, I've got this quote unquote image of being this outfitter, former military guy. You can go back right now. You don't need to do it. But if you were to go into your phone right now and look at the last social media post I did, it was this time yesterday or the day before. And it has nothing to do with hunting, has nothing to do with masculinity, has nothing to do with my military background. It's literally a share. I'm getting the goosebumps from it. It's a share of a dad in a stadium, of a baseball stadium, being interviewed by ESPN, being asked how nervous he is that his son is taking his first major league at bat. And literally, as he's describing his anxiety and excitement and proudness of his son's first major league at bat, he hits a home run while he's being interviewed. The dad just loses it. And I literally just forwarded it from my personal image feed and just said, this has all the feels. So you're experiencing that now. And I'm telling you, 20 years later, it won't go away. He'll always be your baby boy. Doesn't matter how many kids you have, they'll always be your babies. And I'm just super excited for you, but I'm also proud of your mindset. You know, I coach and talk a lot about mindset on and off air. This is not I'm going to be real candid with you. And you guys have seen it. You've seen people say, well, we're not hunting this year. We're having a baby, or they have these limiting beliefs about having a baby, what that means, and that's going to end their life or destroy their life. And it's like, no, this is the greatest singular thing God's ever given you the power to do. So why keep that in a home and keep that in a screen when we're so designed to be outside and be within nature? And I'm excited for you that your guys' response to getting this New Mexico elk tag wasn't, well, we can't go this year with the baby. Like, oh, we're going with the baby. Talk a little bit about that mindset for our listeners.
Oh, I mean, off the bat, we already kind of had an idea. Like we were planning, we were hoping to have a kid. We weren't sure kind of that January to mid-year time frame.
Right.
And then, of course, came back positive. We were crying. We were so excited, and it truthfully was one of those things where it's like we've heard it from so many people. Don't change your life for the baby.
Yes.
Invite the baby into your life.
Oh, beautifully said. Holy cow. You guys should write that down, people. If you're listening, write that down.
Yes. Yes.
And that's literally our outlook's been the entire time. Yeah. That's even perfect example. This fall in mid-August, I'm going up to Alaska.
Yep.
And we're like, that's kind of, it's pretty close to when the baby's getting born. But Aubrey looks at me and she's like, you're still going on that trip. This not happening. You're going on that trip. And I'm like, okay.
Okay, but this is seriously like, okay, this was not scripted, but boy, did you just take me down a path that our audience needs to hear. We were just interviewed by our friends James and Alma Karan on their podcast about being in business together. My wife and I, we just celebrated our 23rd wedding anniversary. We've been together well more than half our lives now, and they're talking about that. And this is great that you talked about it. And if we would have said this off the air, I would have made the whole pod about this. But ladies and gentlemen, what they just said is so beautiful. Like, these guys are having a baby in their young 20s, and they're already talking about, RJ, it's important that you go do the things you love that make you RJ. Aubrey, it's important you do the things. So this isn't like, oh, the old lady says I can't go hunting anymore. Like, this is you live the best version of you, the best destiny of you, and we're going to show our son and our future children to live your dreams. How did you say it? With your family, not despite it. How did you say that?
I think it was something like, rather than them being a burden, essentially, it's just you invite them into your life.
That's so beautiful. RJ, you grew up with a camera over your shoulder. Like, this is not new for you in that sense. Taxidermy on the walls. There's some rumors going around that you might have actually got visibly frustrated when your parents would be gone during hunting season, all the way to the point where either partially or at some point were completely homeschooled. Talk to me a little bit about that. When did you know? What's your first memory of, like, I want to be involved in hunting at the major league level for the rest of my life? When did that click for you?
Oh, geez. I mean, there was, like you said, there was a lot of times when I was younger that I went back and forth because I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand any side of it, from the camera side to the management side of hunting. I didn't understand any part of the triangle as a whole. But as I'd say probably that getting into high school range is when I started learning. And my parents had always taught me. They never pushed anything on me. They never made me hunt. They never made me do anything of that sort. When I was younger, I actually scared myself with a gun from shooting. I think it was a 12 gauge. One of my buddies shot it, and I'm like, oh, I can shoot that when I was young. And I shot it, scared me. And then I didn't like guns until I was in high school. So
oh, wow.
I think that had part to do with it. And that was just part of the learning experience, is going into that, which made me love archery. And then come high school, me and my buddies start getting more and more into guns. So now I wouldn't say that I have a preference over either. I love being out in the woods. And come probably junior year is when I started picking up more camera stuff and learning that side of it, going into senior. And then, of course, when I graduated, I kind of jumped right into the business. And now it's kind of crazy because I love each side of it. I love the camera side. I'm a tech nerd. They call me in the office a gadget guru, with all the little tools and toys and everything. Like,
you should see this place.
I got just little camera pieces all over my office for everything. And so now I get just as excited filming somebody hunt, like with Aubrey, as I am hunting. And it's like a full circle now, where at first I wasn't sure. And then when I was young, I was like, oh, my parents are always gone because of this or because of work and everything else. And now it's like, oh, it's not work. It's the lifestyle. It's this blessed opportunity that we've had to be able to experience and go do everything that we've been able to go and do. And now I'm excited to, again, have this next little guy with us. And hopefully he understands it the same way that I did over time.
It's a beautiful mindset. It's beautiful to see how you've woven it into your family and it's so genuine. Like, I've seen you in different places around the United States at different trade shows where we hang out together. One of the things I told you before we went on air is your authenticity is the same, whether you're on camera, off camera. It's one of the reasons why I think your parents had so much success is they're not trying to be some personality. In fact, off the air when I was interviewing them recently, we talked about how that's a problem right now. And it's actually a question coming up later is how much people just want an authentic experience with people now. And the way you're weaving it to your family, I think sets a really good example. I'm excited for you. I'm not going to put you on the spot and to ask you how many more kids you want to have after this one, because maybe you're thinking it's a bunch, or maybe you're thinking, hey, let's have one and then figure it out. But I'm going to tell you this as your friend. God in this world needs more babies of people like you. And when I say people like you, good faith, good beliefs, good values, like the world is going to be a better place the more kids you put into it. Very easy for me to say from 500 miles away. But I mean that genuinely from the bottom of my heart. The world's going to be a better place with your children in it. So I'm excited for them. Aubrey, you're like me. You're the wild card in all this. I'm first generation in my family. People are like, you want to go do what this weekend? You want to go hunting? When I left the military to start a guide business, like, you want to do what? Well, if that's cute, but what are you going to go do for money? So talk a little bit about that for you, Aubrey. Take us back to the first time you were in a tree stand, or RJ talked about hunting. And I think if my notes are right, your first experience, you actually were there when RJ took a doe. What flipped the switch for you from observer to, I want to do this myself? Talk me through that journey for you.
Wow. It was like, yeah, okay, so I didn't grow up hunting at all. I knew what it was, but I didn't really have any like interest in it. And I knew he was a hunter, so yes, I sat in with him. He shot a doe, and I didn't realize what all really went into it. Like, yes, you shoot the animal, then what? Then, he showed me how to process the whole thing. We got it gutted, we got it hung up, skinned, and I'm like, you know what? This is kind of cool. I think I might want to try doing this someday. And then, youth season, I was 17 at the time, got a tag, and he took me out, and I shot my first animal with a shotgun, which was a doe. And oh my gosh, I've been hooked ever since. Ever since. It's been a dangerous game.
I think you played it down a little bit. The first time I took her out and I shot that doe, right after the fact, we go up, we recover the doe. She dropped in her spot, and she looks at me and she goes, I'm gonna do this next year.
Yeah, I made it.
I'm doing this next year. I'm like,
told him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I think what really was just the cherry on top, especially when she got her first doe for my dad. My dad tells the story every single time.
Yes.
And he might have told it to you on the last podcast. But seriously, after she shot her doe, we recovered it. We come back to the house. We did photos and everything else with it. And Dad's like, all right, I'll be right back. I'm going to go take care of it, gut it, clean it, everything else. And Aubrey's like, wait, what? No, this is my doe. Let me do this.
Can I do this?
So then Aubrey and I went and did it. And ever since, she is gutted. She's clean. She's done everything across the board. There's no scared of getting in there for this girl.
No. I just like to be hands-on with it all. Because, it's just part of the process. It just makes you feel more connected with the animal. I just love it.
Yeah. That's a big identity shift at 17 years old, a very influential time in your life. What
Right.
did you have friends that were not pleased, or family members that weren't pleased that you're becoming a huntress? Did you get any negative feedback, or talk about that identity shift?
So, no, honestly, my parents were both very supportive. My dad thinks it's the absolute coolest thing that I get to do what I do. My mom too. My grandma was like, you're shooting that? But she doesn't, she don't care. My sisters think it's awesome. It's just like, wow, you guys do that for a living? And I have to pinch myself every morning when I wake up. I'm like, yeah, this is my life. It's been awesome. But no negativity, no negative feedback or anything, which I've been very thankful for.
I'm very thankful too, because that's not always the path in the public eye, especially for female. It seems like the attacks on hunting has always been there, but the attacks on female hunters, whether it's keyboard warriors or whatever else, seems to be particularly vile. So I'm glad that that's stayed away from you. You certainly don't deserve it. If it ever comes, I know you won't absorb it or take any of it on. You guys grew up in Illinois, big whitetail country. Obviously, whitetails and turkeys, certainly what they're known for. Last few years made the move to Colorado. That's a completely different ball game. Talk about the move to Colorado. What drew you guys to the West, and how has that transition been from Midwest whitetails to Western big game? Talk about that.
Oh, it was a big jump. That was at the time that we moved. I'd only hunted elk, I think, once, but that one time that I hunted elk, it's exactly what my parents told me when I was young. Is like there's certain animals out there that once you hunt them, you're gonna know that that's one of your favorite animals to hunt. Just period. Elk is one of those, hands down.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. ever, I think.
Yes.
And that was the year that I graduated, was the first year that I hunted elk. And then following that, my parents ended up getting some property out in Colorado. One thing led to another. We waited for Aubrey to graduate, and I'm like, hey, do you want to, move to Colorado after you graduate?
It was literally, I want to say maybe 3 weeks after I graduated high school when we all made the move. None of our buddies moved from Illinois to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
We just packed all of our stuff up and left.
And it's been a blessing ever since.
Best decision we've ever
I think we're still getting used to the whole draw system. That was I think the biggest change as far as hunting went for us.
Sure.
Because Illinois, you go to the store, you pick up tags over the counter, you don't think about it. Out here, there's more species, but also there's a little bit more depth, I'd say, to actually getting the tags if it's not an over the counter unit essentially. And it's definitely nice learning and understanding more of it and how it works and how they're truly trying to manage the game out here.
Yeah.
And a lot more just science-based management, which is how it should be just across the board. And I will say one thing, it is a lot nicer for where we can get over-the-counter tags out here in Colorado now that we're residents.
Right.
It's the couple $100s rather than like $800 for like an elk tag, which is much nicer, but Illinois tags have definitely went back up now.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen you guys have done a nice job of getting back there. Last year when I was in Illinois deer hunting, you guys were like 120, 130 miles north of me. And then you guys were just there for turkey season 2. Aubrey, you get to see some family through those trips at all? Get to make any pit stops?
Yep. Always got to make time to see Grandma Jane, mom and dad, and all the brothers and sisters and cousins. Always gotta make time for them.
That's awesome. Now you, Aubrey, have had quite the luck since the move. Tell me about, is it 3 mule deer in 1 calendar year? Talk a little bit about that. You can brag on yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so that was a little bit insane. Yeah. So a buddy of, a friend of ours, he has land somewhere out in the flats and prairies of Colorado, out east. And he had a landowner tag or something?
Yeah, those very late season management tags, and I think it was January or February that your tag was.
It was January.
Right? Yeah, it was early.
Yeah, and we just went out scouting one day and didn't really think I was gonna shoot anything the first day, especially. But so we started scouting. We see this nice little bachelor herd of mule deer, and of course they have busted racks. I'm like, I don't care, I'll shoot any one of them. And all of a sudden, Ralph's like, wait. And so I waited, and we see this beautiful, beautiful mule deer just pop out. And I shot him, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And I just couldn't believe that I shot something so big, especially for my first buck. But it was, and everyone was there, Ralph, Vicky, RJ.
Eddie, the whole crew.
Yes, so kicked that off, then drew a tag in Wyoming. Shot a beautiful mule deer there as well. My father's shot. Well, not anymore, but it was my father's shot at the time. My elk.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then drew a tag back here, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm kind of like the mule deer queen right now."
And then I think that sunk in, and she's just like, I think mule deer are my favorite now.
Yeah. So you guys moved out here right after high school. Would 15 or 14-year-old Aubrey be like, if you were looking back and talking to your past self, would be like, hey, little girl, just so you know, in like 4 years, you're going to be the mule deer queen living in Colorado, living your best life with your husband and have a baby on the way. Would your past self, future self conversation look like that?
She would literally go, "What's a mule deer?" That's how she would go, "What's that?" Literally.
Yeah. Well, life's all part of the journey, and it's beautiful to see what you guys have accomplished for sure. RJ, you did something cool recently with the velvet depredation elk hunt. I don't know. I think that's mostly been aired, or maybe more of it's still coming out slowly. But I know a big part of the reason why you did that, and you like to talk about the conservation piece, the management side of the piece. I know you've talked even about like helping farmers make sure that population numbers and they don't have horrible depredation on cattle property and stuff like that. Talk about, a lot of people in their hunting journey, if you look at the societal norms, the age group you would be in is still in that group of, if it's brown, it's down, if it flies, it dies. And I'm not saying that as an insult to your group. I know at that age, that was my mindset. I was a young military officer stationed in Virginia. If it was a doe day, I'd shoot a doe. If it was a buck day, I'd shoot a buck, whether it was a big buck or a little buck. And then there's supposedly all these stages of the hunt that you grow through. And now I'm in a stage where it's like more fun to watch my wife or my son or kind of client. RJ, you mentioned even watching Aubrey. So you're very mature for your age in that spot, in that timeline. Talk a little bit about at such a young age how you're so mature for years and really focus on the conservation. Why is the conservation and management side so important to you, like in your soul? Where did that come from?
I mean, it kind of like we were talking about a little bit ago with growing up, having a camera around me all the time, having the office literally 10 yards from our house. I grew up with all the guys in the office, learning the production side of everything, which ultimately turned into learning more of the hunting side of everything. And like I was saying earlier, with about midway through high school, I started picking up a lot more from my dad. And when we would go with outfitters and we would go here or there, and people would just, I started explaining things. You get stuff from your Midwestern, you get your stuff out west, you get your stuff from Florida, down there in the South, you get Canadians talking about all of this different stuff and how they manage differently and how different locations can change how you manage a single species. And there's so many little things that go into it that just amaze me, that I think that number one's really interesting. But number two, growing up being, I wouldn't say one of the few kids that would go to like the shows and stuff, because there's a lot of kids that would go to these shows, but seeing and just hearing from my mom and dad all the time and a lot of the people in the industry how there's a lot of the demographic right now is a much older demographic in the hunting industry. Now I'm seeing a lot more online, which is great to see, of younger people and younger kids getting more into the outdoors. And I think there was a generation gap that we just are now kind of getting to, where your generation, the generation before you, was very outdoorsy. There was a generation there that seemed like something kind of got missed a little bit, but now we're really getting strong again, I believe. And going into that, I think that being able to learn what goes into the management, like you just said, if it's brown, it's down. If it flies, it dies. That kind of stuff. My dad, again, would always, when I was younger, I grew up listening to his seminars, and he would be, how many of you guys do you remember? You guys in your shed have a big old tote of just little forkies or spikes or whatever, if it's legal in your state. If you saw it, you're shooting it, pretty much. And that's I went through the same thing. I wouldn't say that I have as many as my dad does, but he would explain to me kind of, it's not necessarily just shooting everything you see as far as that goes, but it's, if you want to continue to manage your herd in your location, your home, wherever you might hunt, just looking for mature bucks. And that's one of the biggest things that I love to do. Is, you can laugh at me, but I love the weird stuff, the weird ones. I love the
wonky,
big old bucks or elk that just have wonky antlers. They'll never be really anything huge like these giant trophies that people might be looking for. I've never really been about that. If it's a mature animal and it's a good one to take out of the herd to help manage, it's perfect. That's all I could ask for, because at the end of the day, I walk home with plenty of meat, delicious meat, and something that I can put on my wall and be happy about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How about you, Aubrey? When do you decide if an animal is a shooter or non-shooter? You talked about a little bit of, the one who had the busted rack, but I don't care, it was a giant. You talked about the first one being a doe. Where are you in that journey right now as far as shooting, passing? What brings you the most joy? I know you're really into the archery, but also equally lethal with a rifle. Where are you in your hunting journey right now? If we're going hunting tomorrow, would it be bow, rifle? And how do you determine a shooter from a non-shooter?
Ooh, okay. So what they've always told me, Ralph and Vicky, and especially RJ, if it trips your trigger, go for it.
It's a shooter.
Yes. And now I do like to, wait for a little bit more mature things nowadays. Now that, I've been doing this for a couple years, I do like to manage in that way. But if he's a little goofy or if he's got a broken rack and I like him, I'm gonna take him. Now, if you gave me the option between bow or gun, I'm going with the gun tomorrow. For sure. I love bow hunting. I do love bow hunting. But I just love a gun too. It's just, one of those things. Now, who knows? My answer might be different next time you ask me, but for now, gun.
Love it.
Does that have to do with the belly?
Maybe the belly's in the way. Cool.
Aubrey, favorite sound, elk bugle or turkey gobble?
Elk bugle 1,000% because you feel it in your spine. You
RJ?
just do.
Oh, elk
Yeah.
all day. That's ever since that, like we were talking about earlier, that first hunt that I ever went on. Uh, we had this just beautiful, I want to say it was a 6x6 that
Yeah.
ran into us, and he came up to about 10 yards. We had cows all over, and he bugled, and this was like the second morning of me ever elk hunting, and he bugles at like 10 yards facing us, and I had to change my pants. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
You feel it just through your bones.
Oh, you do.
And I love turkey gobbles. I love hearing
those
that,
do-
especially in the morning. Oh,
Those do shock
Yeah.
you sometimes when they're, especially if they're right there. You're like, you perk up real fast, but
well,
And it's amazing how an elk can sneak up on you, bugle on top of it, and you didn't realize that thing was there. It's 700, 800, 900, 1,100 pounds. You're like, what? How? What? And then they
Yeah.
disappear equally
Yes.
fast. Like, wait a minute. The aliens got him. What just happened here for sure?
yeah,
Mhm.
1,000%.
Oh,
Totally amazing. RJ, I see you in my eyes. You know, you've never told me this, so I'm speaking as through my lens. You're stepping, both of you in a lot of ways are stepping into a major role at Content King Media. How do you balance honoring the legacy your parents built, but for both of you, the need to modernize the message for today's audience while establishing your own identity? You know, what does the future of this opportunity look like? And obviously, I know how much you love and respect your parents, want to carry on their legacy. But how much of both of your individualism and those of your children are you going to bring to the table for the next generation of hunters to watch?
oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
It's something we'd honestly go back and forth
we
with
talk about it a lot.
all the time,
Yeah.
because obviously, as many people see now, the digital landscape's changed entirely from just broadcast television to the fast channels to we could go over the whole kit and caboodle and explain it all, because that's kind of what we have to do on the day to day now, where
Right.
like my parents would say again, 20 years ago, it wasn't like that. It was
Yeah.
television, and then all of a sudden Facebook came to play, and then you have your Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of them. There's so much going on that it can be a lot to wrap your head around at times, but at the same time, growing up seeing all of these different things change and how our generation has seen things change faster and faster and faster now, especially with the introduction of AI. And that's a whole nother topic that you can go into, where it's
Sure.
you got to find that kind of teeter-totter point where you use it because you know it's here, but you don't
You don't
overutilize it, where
Yeah.
there's a lot of little things that go on with that kind of stuff. But when it comes to, at the end of the day, how we believe we can hopefully continue taking Content King Media to the next level now is taking in, understanding everything going on in the landscape, how we can spread the message of the outdoor lifestyle across the board.
Yes.
No matter how it is, no matter how people view their content, whether it be on the TV, whether it be on your phone, tablets, laptops, everything. There's so many ways to get in front of people nowadays that you have to fine tune your message to be consistent across all those platforms. And that's how I think, truthfully, we can have a lot stronger stance as an entire hunting outdoor industry, is if we continue to push the same message together.
Wow. That's
Well said.
very eloquently said.
Isn't
Thank
it?
you.
Aubrey, right? We're both like, wow, that was,
my dogs. Yeah.
that's
It's
really well
amazing.
said. I had an amazing moment. You're speaking about platforms. I had an amazing moment yesterday where we have a guy that just found out he drew Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep in New Mexico.
Whoa.
And he drew it through zero outfitter fees, and he drew the only non-resident tag, and we've drawn the only non-resident tag 3 out of the last 6 years. So just God's good to us. And it's a particular hunt where we now have the number 26 with the bow and like the number 35 with the bow from that hunt. This guy in particular is a rifle hunter.
Wow.
And I'm talking about platforms because while I was talking to him, I got a text message from your dad, from Ralph, and it said, I want to connect you. You guys can help me with the last name, Ken Geiger, Manitoba. Ken.
Yeah, Gangler.
Gangler.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
he says, hey, I want you to, Dan, meet Ken, Ken, meet Dan. You guys need to connect, and you actually need to connect sooner than later for some of the stuff Dan's working on and some of the stuff Ken wants to do. And basically, Ralph said, I've known Ken for a long time. So in my brain, the next natural thing to do before I call Ken or before I would call you or anybody else is do a little bit of homework on Ken. And so I Google Ken and I Google his outfit, and guess what comes up? A 25-year-old episode, I'm guessing, of your parents on a bear hunt with him. And The first 3 minutes I watched it, I wasn't watching it through the lens of 49-year-old version outfitter Dan. It was like, I watched that when it aired new. And that was so cool. Um, so there has been all these changes in the platforms lately. Aubrey, for you coming from the non-hunting side now to the hunting side of this world, how has your perspective shifted on how you as the general public, non-hunting public, now to not just a casual hunter, but truly a full-time all-in, I'm going to use the word professional hunter really. How does that influence you and your mindset when you're thinking about content, when you're thinking about some of the creative platforms you guys are going to use going forward, bringing that, oh my gosh, this is how the old version of me thought, the new version of me, and where we sit today as a society with all those platforms that are out there?
Good question. My gosh. Well, I don't know how to even like answer that.
If you think about like the non-hunting public and the
Yeah.
interactions you had with them before your hunting
Yeah.
life, now being all in, how has your mindset shifted on that perspective, or has it, where you, when you weren't a hunter, that doesn't mean you were against it, you just didn't know a lot about it. How would that have influenced the way you portrayed hunting and content then versus how you would now? What are some of the things you think about? I don't know whether it's necessarily filming or just having a rapid fire conversation about, hey, tomorrow, I heard a story recently about RJ's Buffalo being charged. And so when you would think back about that, if you were the director and the captain for the day, Aubrey, like, okay, knowing what we now know about all this B-roll we got yesterday, and knowing that the non-hunters and the hunters alike will be watching this, how does stuff like that influence you? Just, talk about your creative side and just coming from a non-hunting background to a professional hunter background.
Yeah, okay. So it's been obviously quite the shift because I didn't really do a whole lot on social media anyways, like before we met.
Uh-huh.
So that's just been a crazy thing as well. And then yeah, I mean it's such a hard question to answer. I don't know why.
She's picked up a lot of the social side of like Ralph and Vicky. She does all the
Yeah.
posts and everything else on that side.
Yeah.
So she sees the day to day, like you're saying, across the platforms.
Yeah, and it's always changing. Oh my gosh. And I mean, you see the positive and the negatives. I mean,
Yeah.
especially within the hunting community, I've noticed they can be quite cannibalistic to each other.
Mm.
That's
It
what
is, unfortunately.
I've noticed. Yeah, like who cares? Who
Yeah.
cares what you're hunting with as long as it's legal, of course.
And that
But
goes back to the whole premise of the choice, right?
exactly.
Choice.
See,
Have the
yes,
choice. Celebrate freedom. Yeah.
absolutely.
And
Do
you
it
want
your
the
way. If it's
very
legal, have
sleep.
fun, enjoy the mountain, get away from the screens, get away from the office, make your
Yep.
choice and go hunt. If it's legal, enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Amen to that.
Yep. So
I love
mean,
it.
yeah, that's just been crazy. Quite the change
Yeah.
for sure. And it's always changing though, so it's kind of hard
You've
to keep
responded very gracefully though, and very publicly. I mean, you went from a very non-public life to a very upfront public life, and I think you guys have handled it with grace.
Well, thank you, because I feel like, oh my gosh, if you would have like talked to me when I first started getting involved in all this, oof, I wouldn't have been able to hold a conversation. I would have been too nervous. I mean, I still do get nervous, but it's definitely a little bit more natural now, I feel.
Yeah.
Having the cameras.
Could you consider yourself more introverted?
Oh yes, extremely introverted.
For sure.
So it's a
But
stretch for you, but you're killing it.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, now that you guys are out west and you've experienced, you talked a little bit about the draws. One question that every guest of the Secret Side of Western Big Game Hunting gets from me is, why is zero outfitter fees such a no-brainer for you and the people that follow you guys? You guys have been a member now for, I think, a little over a year, maybe coming up on 2 years. But why is it such a no-brainer for you both?
For us, I mean, obviously we got a little one on the way.
Yeah.
We have a home. We've been very blessed, but we by no means are we rich. Like
No.
we we manage our money very, very finely, especially with the little guy on the way. And to have the opportunity to continue living this lifestyle, especially with zero outfitter fees at the fee that we got in for because we get grandfathered in,
Right.
it's like you're saying, it's a no-brainer. It gives us the opportunity if we draw something. Say you're at for us it was the 997 if I'm not mistaken a year, and year after year, I mean, we can right now there are elk hunts going $8,000+ That's 8-10 years of us just doing this for one elk hunt. If we draw one elk hunt on it,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep, I agree.
it just makes sense for us to do it because then any opportunity we have, Zero F is going to help us out. and it's going to be the same thing right back.
It just makes life a lot simpler and easier,
especially with the tag stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something
Having
we're
a baby
still
around and not having to remember draw deadlines could be helpful.
Yeah, see?
Mhm.
I'm telling you, I already feel like my mind's slipping. And he's not here yet.
Can we put the little guy on so he gets grandfathered in at the same price too?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I would do that.
Perfect.
I would do that for you guys.
We'll get him ready.
I love to thank you for that. I love the feedback for me and the feedback for the audience, but selfishly, the feedback for me is when we find common answers, we want to make sure we keep delivering that piece of the product. And obviously, zero outfitter fee hunts, when your hunts are paid, don't have to think about draw deadlines. There's a bunch of other benefits too, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to be in business with you guys doing that, and excited for you guys to draw your first zero outfitter fee hunt as I know you will sometime soon. And yeah, we want to get the little guy in the program as fast as possible for sure. As we kind of wind down, I have a couple more philosophical. Let's fast forward 80 years from today. So 80 years from today, you guys are both in perfect health. Okay. You have kids, grandkids. God's been good. Life's been a blessing. You're 100 some years old, perfect health. And you guys make the conscious decision. Follow the question here because it's kind of fun. You guys make the conscious decision that you're getting ready to go on your retirement hunt. And you have to both individually answer this. The question is, you have the world is your oyster. Time and money is not an issue. You're going on one retirement hunt. You've officially told your family you're going on this hunt, and then you're retiring from hunting for the rest of your life, because all you're going to do the rest of your life is go to your great grandkids and great great grandkids, baseball games, basketball games, church events, whatever the case may be. You're hanging up hunting. Question number one, where are you driving or flying to? So where's the camp? What state, province, country, anywhere in the world? The second part question is, what's the species? Okay. Rifle or bow? And the last question is, what is the playlist, the music that you're listening to while you drive or fly there? It doesn't matter who goes first. This is your retirement hunt. You're going together. Okay. Where are you going? Any continent, country, state. What's the animal? Rifle or bow? What's your playlist? And oh, by the way, you only have one tag. So RJ, you go first. And you get to tell me after all that, who's the shooter. RJ, you're up.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Retirement hunt.
Yeah, have you ever thought of that?
I don't know about a retirement hunt. I have like a dream hunt, but I'd say for a retirement hunt, and it's anybody has a tag. There's one tag, but anybody can use it.
It's you or Aubrey. You have to shoot. It's your retirement hunt. You got one tag amongst the two of you for whatever species on whatever continent. You have to decide who's the shooter, what's the animal, how when you're on the way there, where are you going, and what's the playlist? What do you listen to on the radio?
Oh, geez. I'd probably, if we're in great health and everything is doable,
Right?
I would have to say I know exactly what it'd be, because I'd have to do it for Aubrey. Her biggest dream.
My answer.
It's too bad. It's too bad.
You got to go first.
This guy.
Every single time we see one of these, this is her dream animal, and it's an ibex. And what kind was it?
It's like an Iberian ibex.
Yeah.
That's like her absolute dream. And it's just the way they look, everything else.
Like, they're just beautiful. I mean, it's like a sable on a smaller goat body, but like they're still buff, and I just love their horns, the way that they go back, and all the notches on them. They're just beautiful.
They are.
But
I'd obviously.
Where would you hunt it? Are you going to Turkey? Are you going to one of the Kazakhstan or Kazakhstan?
Yes. One of the crazy stands. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the playlist on the way there would definitely have to be some sort of like, I mean, we're 105, so if you're gonna do it, you gotta go hard. We're gonna go rock, maybe some metal kind of stuff going in there, getting all pumped up for a mountain hunt while we're like over 100.
Okay.
I mean, how else do you go into it? You got to get all kind of pumped up, right?
Okay, who's your metal band of choice? I'm a Korn guy. I love Metallica. Who's your metal band of choice?
Oh, geez, that's a good question. I listen to it. I'm one of those guys that listen to like everything under the sun. They make fun of me because my playlist has like 3,000 or 4,000 songs, and I'll put on shuffle, and it'll go from like a super slow country song to this just heavy metal, back to something crazy.
Sounds like we have the same playlist, RJ. Lots of country, old school country, new country, then a crazy metal song, and then back to something slow, and then a ballad, and yeah, amazing. Chris Ledoux will be in there, Garth Brooks, George Strait. So That's your playlist. That's your animal. She's the shooter in one of the stands. Aubrey, same question to you. I know he kind of stole your answer, but let's see what you got.
Well, since he decided for me, I'll decide for him.
Oh, jeez.
So it would be a bongo. Bongo. Now, I think where are they found?
Bongo in the Congo.
In the Congo.
Yeah,
Bongo in
okay,
the Congo.
yes, literally that. If we were in absolute perfect health, I know we're talking we're in our hundreds, but it would be a bongo. He would go with his bow,
Mm-hmm.
and the playlist would also be heavy metal, rock, 80, specifically 80s rock, though. I'm a little bit
Okay.
deaf for.
I'm surprised you didn't say a little white girl rap.
Well, maybe
be honest.
maybe a little white girl rap too, but
Who would that be? Give me one artist. Who's the white girl rap?
Oh,
Oh, I don't know if I want to say and out myself like that.
send it. You might as
Nicki
well.
Minaj.
Send it.
Nicki Minaj.
Love
Dare
it.
I say?
Oh,
Nicki
You
Minaj.
said it. Awesome. Okay, we'll wrap up with a couple more. Aubrey, you get to go first this time.
Okay.
Living in the public eye is not always easy, not always fun, but you guys are killing it.
Thank you.
Even though you're in the public eye, Aubrey, what is one thing about RJ the world doesn't know yet, but should?
That's scary.
Gosh darn it. I don't know. Oh no. Gosh darn it. Everyone knows that you're deathly afraid of spiders.
Mm-hmm. That's the one
Sorry,
thing
I was
about
gonna-
bongo in the Congo, by the way, is I don't necessarily want to go to the Congo, but if you're gonna do a bongo, you gotta do bongo in the Congo. But
Well,
Yeah.
the spiders that are there and the bugs.
Yeah, so okay, maybe I'll stick with the spider thing. Yeah, he is absolutely deathly afraid of spiders. Like if there's a big spider, I'm killing it. He's not killing it.
That's
I
funny.
am.
So the joke in our house, if one of my kids see a spider, I'll let her say, is it a mommy-sized spider or a daddy-sized spider? If it's a daddy-sized spider, I'll be right there. But if it's bigger than that, you better get your mom. It's a
I
big
like
ongoing
that.
joke in our house.
Mommy
RJ,
or
what
daddy
about you?
size spider?
What is one thing the world doesn't yet know about Aubrey, but should?
I outed you. Sorry, you can be mean too.
I don't know if there's anything to out you about. I really don't. I'll be a little more sappy, I guess. But
Yeah, do it.
one thing that she doesn't put on camera very often, she gets very emotional after her hunts and shots and everything else, but she has so much respect for the animals that I'm not kidding. It's one of those things that after the hunt, we all get super excited. We all start shaking. If you ever lose it, I don't even know what to tell you because that's what it's all about. And it's after the hunt, she takes a second to kind of recollect herself after the tears are done, after the shaking slows down a little bit once we recover the animal. And it's a beautiful thing to see because I've seen it with Aubrey, I've seen it with my mom, my dad before.
Amen.
And across the board, whenever I've been with somebody, whenever they take a second after all the absolute chaos, the adrenaline, everything else calms down, and and Aubrey sits down next to the animal and just sits there and looks at it. That's one of those things that you can't really capture it on camera as well as it is in the moment. Because it's one of those things that you just feel something from that person having a connection with the animal that you don't get anywhere else. And that's one thing that if people don't see it, that's something that I'd like to have out there for Aubrey because it's true. She has an incredible respect for the animals, especially only really in the past 6 years now, being entered into this kind of lifestyle, this chaos, everything else. And it's just a beautiful thing to see that she's come so far from even the first time we were hunting in Illinois for that doe to even now where it's with a turkey hunt and it's the same thing. We'll take photos, whatever it is, and she'll just sit behind there before she moves to get up and she just pets the fan or just appreciates the animal in every way possible.
That's beautiful. I really appreciate that answer. In my book, I talk about one of my hunting mentors. When I was still in the Air Force, I told Bob Stevens, who I hope to have on the podcast sometime soon, who is a San Carlos Apache Indian here, probably 20, 25 years older than me. And I remember when I told him I was going to go out of the Air Force to start a guide business, he had all these things to tell me that he was like, he just brain dumped on me of hundreds of years of Apache history. And one of the things that I'll share with you based on your answer, amongst all the things he said, is he said, what's interesting about the spirit, what's interesting about nature is it doesn't matter how hard you hunted for a deer, an elk, a turkey. It doesn't matter if you harvested that elk, deer, turkey opening morning or the last day of the hunt. We think we hunted hard. We think we put in all this time and all this energy. But Dan, what you need to know is ultimately, at the end of the day, that animal chose you. That animal chose you. And when God made you and when God made that animal, that God knew that those two souls would interact one day. And how you act in that moment, how you treat that animal, will decide how that spirit of that animal comes back to you. Do you get another 3 mule deer in 1 year because the spirit of that animal chose you again? So beautiful answer. Been such a pleasure having you guys on the Secret Side of Western Big Game Hunting today. You guys are selfless people, but I want you to be selfish for a moment. I want you to tell us each and every place we can follow you, social media, television-wise, YouTube. Give us all the places where we can follow you for people who are only following you on 1 or 2 places or are learning about you guys for the first time. Where can we keep up with you guys?
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to get the kind of umbrella, go to contentkingmedia.com, and you can kind of find everything on there. But for Aubrey and I, we're at RJ and Aubrey across all the platforms. On television, we're The Choice. And YouTube, we have The Choice Outdoors, which is kind of the collection of all of us doing our thing. And then, of course, for my parents, too, is at Ralph and Vicky. We like to keep it pretty easy. Just have first name and first name.
It's awesome. It's very nice that you included in your parents all that in that too. Just speaks a lot to who you are. I'm proud to know you guys. I'm proud to call you friends, even off screen. It's been great being part of your life these last few years. God bless you guys. Congratulations on the baby. The world's going to be a better place with more baby RJs and Aubreys in it. So keep up the good work and good luck on the mountain. And we'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you for having us,
so much.
man. Thank you for everything.
You bet. God bless.
The Secret Society of Western Big Game Hunting is brought to you by Zero Outfitter Fees and Diamond Outfitters. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.